No problem.
Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Today, woo, I have a very special show today, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm ready to go, ready to rock, ready to get it going today. I'm so excited to be here right now. I'm so excited to do my show again. I know I've been slacking. I know I've been, been going through a lot of things, but I'm here today. I'm back. The king is back. I'm back and I'm ready to rock. And I have a very special guest. He's a legend in the game, legend in the filming game, and he's a big director, for Hollywood. And I would like to introduce him, Mr. David Worth. Take it away, Mr. David Worth. Mr. Worth.
Hey, I'm thrilled to be here, King. Thanks for inviting me to the show. Thank you for your kindness and your thought and your remembering this old dude. It's been a while, but I'm still hanging in.
Well, you're not old to me. You're getting younger, sir. You're getting younger, sir. You're getting
Thank
younger. Yeah, great, great in my eyes, great in my book, sir. So, Mr. Worth, how's life going?
It's going good. Yeah, I'm preparing a couple of films. I'm going to do a film in Venice, Italy this fall, another one in Bangkok next year. So I'm kicking ass and taking names.
That's right, Mr. Worth, that's right. That's how you say it. Kicking ass and taking names, that's right. So, Mr. Worth, so man, what inspired you to get into filming?
Well, one afternoon when I was in high school, I was home by myself. I flipping around the channels on the TV, and I come across a movie just starting called Citizen Kane by Orson Welles. And I watched it. I was pulled into it, and I loved it. I thought it was one of the most creative films I'd ever seen. And at the end of it, I thought, wow, I would love to be able to do something like that. And something clicked inside my brain. And that is when I began my journey on the long and winding and dusty and turbulent road of becoming a filmmaker.
Mm, mm, mm. So, being been having that, that hunger to do
Yeah.
filming, man. What was doing your first movie like?
Well, there were a lot of first little movies before my first big movie, but my first little movie was just me and a camera and running around with my friends. Uh, Eventually, that led me to doing independent films and little features here and there. And then I was fortunate because my features were eventually seen by someone named Clint Eastwood, and that led to a very big break for me.
Awesome, awesome. So, how do you feel that, your name has traveled so high, so far in this business? How when you look back at all the work you've done, are you amazed at it, or are you just like, man, that's just work. I got a lot more work to do.
That's how I feel. I feel I got a lot more to do, and I'm thrilled with what I was able to accomplish. I'm very pleased. I'm very feel honored and grateful to be able to accomplish it. And I feel I don't want to stop. I just want to keep going, do more and more and more.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, you're being a great, 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 great person in this industry. You know, I heard I've interviewed a lot of your colleagues. I've interviewed a lot of the people that you've worked with. There's one in particular, Mr. Jean-Claude Van Damme. What was it like working with him?
Well, JCVD, I had him on as basically his very first film, Bloodsport. And that was a thrill because he was young, he was after it, he was really intense as an actor. He told me, I'm a martial artist, David, but first I'm an actor. So I just gave him the platform to act. He was very, very impressive. I was thrilled to be there, thrilled to catch him that early in his career. And then I was able to also direct Kickboxer a couple of years later, which was also a very good film for JCVD.
That's so awesome, you know. So like, you know, being a very prominent person in this industry, you know, um, what are some of the movies that basically, you know, that you look at that when you came into business that really sparked your interest?
What interested me in filmmaking were, first of all, Citizen Kane. That was an amazing film, 1940 by someone named Orson Welles. And then once I started getting into it, I discovered the Italian neorealists and the French New Wave. And those were my heroes, those European filmmakers I could see because they were using natural locations, available light, non-actors many times, or first-time actors. And I adapted this as a really creative way of working. I still try to work that way even today. Natural locations, available light, young first-time actors, or very professional actors. And just get out there and do it, man. Don't overthink it. Just do it. You know who said that to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Clint Eastwood. Oh,
Go
don't
out
I
there and do it.
heard him talking with an actor one day. The actor was saying, well, I don't know if I should do this. He said, don't overthink it. Just do it. I said, boing. That is my motto from here on in, man. Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Mr. Worth, how do you balance work and your, you know, normal life?
Pardon?
How do you balance, you know, making movies and your normal life, personal life, basically?
Well, for years, when I was first married, I took my wife and my son with me on location. Davey, who's now in his 30s, was on location for Kickboxer, learned to walk on Kickboxer, and that was wonderful. That's why I solved it. A lot of people don't do it that way, but I took him with me. And then I'd come home after a hard day. I'd be beat. I'd bang on the door, and when it opened, Dave saying "Dad, Dad, Dad, Dad," then all my troubles would be gone. And I'd make pasta on the hot plate, and we'd have wonderful family time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's awesome. You know. So, what was the most significant change you have seen in Hollywood that really, what is the most significant change you've seen in Hollywood with the movies part?
Thing in Hollywood, the most significant thing in Hollywood was probably the year I spent with Clint Eastwood.
Oh wow,
That that was astounding for me.
that's old school.
In the back of a Cadillac van for a few years, doing my little films, and I was very fortunate to do a film called Death Game. This is how things happen in this business. I'm going to go and give you a little parentheses about how life happens in Hollywood. This is the most important thing that ever happened in my life. A producer had come to a screening of my work and saw it and wanted to work with me. And he called me and said, listen, I'm doing a film. The director just fired the cinematographer. You want to come and do it? And I didn't really want to because I thought it might be a mess. I said, who's in it? He said, "Boy, like it's a son of Horizontally Hunter Academy Award nomination. Seymour Cassell Faces Academy Award nomination." I said, I'm in. So I went to the film. It was called Death Game. It was the first time I was able to shoot anamorphic Panavision. Panavision Panaflex camera was there. They'd been using it. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And I could put it on my shoulder. It was a heavy camera, maybe 35 pounds, but it balanced perfectly on my shoulder. And I handheld the camera for almost that entire film. We did the entire balance of the film in like 13, 14 days, all on a location in Los Angeles. And what came from that was Sandra Locke. I was working with lovely Sandra Locke, the late Sandra.
Awesome.
She liked my work. She liked my cinematography because I underexposed the film a stop. I just did it out of my own creativity. I said, I'm going to underexpose this a little because it's a horror film and I want to make it a little darker than normal. So I underexposed it about 3/4 of a stop, almost a stop. And her skin is so light, and that brought out her skin tone for the first time. So she remembered that. And a year or so later, she went to work with somebody named Clint Eastwood on a film called Outlaw Josie Wales. And they struck up a relationship. They were together for nearly 15 years. And she began nudging Clint about my work. That's how it happened. That's how I got to with Sandra. And that goes. And then, a few years later, I was there.
Wow. So, when you first got your first, when you first got your first call to do your first big movie, how did that feeling feel?
Pardon?
I said when you first got your first big call for your big movie, for your big break, for your big movie, what was the feeling like?
Well, it happened again because of Sandra. And I later, when they did The Gauntlet, you might have seen the Clint Eastwood film, The Gauntlet, with Sandra and Clint. There's a great action film called The Gauntlet. I went to see it and I called Sandra. I said, you guys were fantastic. You were up there with Clint 50-50 and gave him everything that gave him back everything that he was giving you. I said, I was so proud of you. And she said, yeah, it was great. But he had a big fight with his cinematographer because he wouldn't shoot by firelight. I said, what? I just did a whole motorcycle movie all by firelight and candlelight and lantern. And she said, you wouldn't have a reel of that you could drop off for Clint to see, would you? Wow. Click. There's another one. And that's how it happened. I dropped off the reel. A week or so later, Clint called me. I went over and met him and met Don Siegel, and they were going to use me on Escape from Alcatraz. But that didn't happen because of the union. I was not in the union at that time. And the union said, fuck no, we don't want this guy in our union. He's an outsider. He didn't come up through the ranks. He wasn't a second assistant for 5 years, then a first assistant for 5 years, then an operator for 5 years. He doesn't deserve to be a cinematographer.
Wow.
Clint Eastwood thought differently. And I was very depressed when that happened, of course. I was home trying to polish off a bottle of vodka. And Sandra called and told me, don't worry, he wants to work with you. He likes your work. It'll take some time, but just don't lose heart. Don't lose heart. Put down the bottle and went back to work.
Wow, man. Ooh. Man, like I know doing your first movie was very 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 exciting.
It was
You
very.
know.
That was a big thrill to do Bronco Billy. Yeah,
Oh wow.
a few years later, uh, I got a call from Clint and Sandra together, and Clint said, "I'm going to send you a script." Oh, that was fantastic. Well, here's how that happened too. Let me go back a little bit. In the meantime, I had worked with Michael Christian, the actor from Peyton Place.
Mm-hmm.
And, he'd written a script, and I was producing. He was producing and acting and writing. I was directing and photographing and editing. We did a little film for $125,000 called Hollywood Night. It ended up being called eventually, if I can remember, it'll come to me in a minute. I'm old. But Hard Knocks is what it ended up being called. So after we had completed it, we couldn't get it sold anywhere. I called up Sandra. I said, I did a little film for what you guys go to lunch on. Can I drop it off for you guys to look at? She said, yes. I dropped it off, and she and Clint screened it and then called me, and they were very complimentary about it. And I said, fantastic. I'm glad you liked it. And Clint said, I'm going to send you a script. I was blown away. That's how I got the script for Bronco Billy.
Wow.
You see,
Wow.
you see, and that was a little 16 millimeter film blown up to 35 millimeter. That's how things happen. That's how things used to happen. I think they happen differently now. But that was my story. That was my lucky break.
Wow, man. I know you was happy and excited, man.
But,
Like, I know you was happy and excited, you know.
oh yeah, I was thrilled. Well, just to even meet Clint, secretary calls me one day and says, Clint wants to meet you. Can you come into the office? I said, I'll crawl into the office to meet Clint. I'll crawl all the way from North Hollywood. And I went into the office. I said, nice to meet you, Mr. Eastwood. He said, call me Clint. That was it. I went from there on.
Wow, man. That guy was amazing, man. Cause I remember watching his movies when I was younger with my dad.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd
like
seen movies up to that point. He wasn't even on my radar because he was like Hollywood royalty, the Hollywood elite. I was some little guy in a Caroline van making little movies, little, nothing movies. And to make that leap was so important for me. And I made that leap because of one person, Sandra Locke. Sandra was a real wonderful person, great lady, great actor. And she liked my work, and she thought I should do two films with Clint, and I did. Bronco Billy and Any Which Way You Can, back to back with Mr. Eastwood, all made possible by Sandra. I really miss her. She passed a few years ago, but wonderful lady, really helped my career a lot.
wow, man. That's sorry for your loss, man. Because this Cassandra must have been, your very best friend,
Very good friend.
Oh man. So so man, being a director. So what was it like being a director at that time? Was it very very big or was it like small time?
Well, I always wanted to be a director. After I saw Citizen Kane, that was the reason I got into filmmaking. But I thought, as a director, I really should know cinematography and editing. So I studied to be a cinematographer and editor first for about 10 years. I just did cinematography and then did editing as part of my cinematography. And I wanted to be very prepared when I stepped into directing. And then my first feature was the one I did with Michael Christian called Hollywood Night, later called Hard Knocks. The 16 millimeter feature we shot for $100,000, blew up to 35 millimeter, and that film got me to Clint. But I was the cinematographer and editor and director, and I kept doing that for many years. I realized that I could streamline the production if I was doing both cinematography and many of the films I did, True Vengeance and Death Game and Shark Attack and Prophet's Game and Might Even Love You were all done. I was cinematographer and director because I kept streamlining the production that way. One less person to talk to.
So okay, awesome. That's wow. I've learned a lot about being a director. That's amazing. So, you know, being a director, right? So, where is the hardest thing to do as a director?
Get out of the car in the morning. That's the hardest thing to do because you know all of a sudden there's going to be 1,000 people asking questions. Can we do this? Can we do that? This has changed. That's changed. You got to really be mellow. You got to be so mellow and so cool as a director. And I was always able to handle it because I had a Zen way about myself. I'll put it that way. I studied philosophy when I was younger, and I basically have a Zen philosophy when it comes to filmmaking. Just show up, do your best, and take what's there and use it. Breathe in, breathe out, relax, do it.
That's so awesome. So you know, you being a great, great guy in the business. How do you handle, the criticism of people criticizing your movies, like you know, criticizing your directing?
Well, everybody has two things. Everyone in the world has two things: an opinion and an asshole. And my job is completely in the other. Got
I
that?
feel,
That's my
yeah.
job. See that their opinion fits neatly in their ass. I got that whole chapter. A director said that many years ago. It's not my invention. And his name was Henry Hathaway. And he said, son, there's two things about Hollywood that everyone has, an asshole and an opinion. Your job is to see the one fits neatly in the other. I thought that was a great line, and I've used it ever since I saw it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. See, I dealt with criticism myself. So, what is your proudest accomplishment in, like, being a director? And we're gonna go to the movies part.
Well, it starts with working with Mr. Eastwood and seeing how he works faster than I worked. I was working on the back of a Caroline van, and he
Mm,
worked faster than me. He was
wow.
just no nonsense. By the way, he would print 75% of the time. He would print the rehearsal or the first, and then what does that do? All the actors get like this. He's going to put the rehearsal the first day. Let's get this. That'll make the big guy happy. And I learned so much from being with Clint because he'd been with Sergio Leone, he'd done Italian westerns, done these big features, and he just did them as simply and beautifully as you could imagine. And that was a big accomplishment. And then directing Hollywood Night was a big accomplishment. That was my first feature. Getting it to Sandra and Clint and getting Bronco Billy, and then being able to go on and photograph films like Bloodsport and then direct Kickboxer. That was a big thrill to work with Mr. Van Damme twice, see him grow, see what he's accomplished in this business because of our time together. I have so many highlights. Working with Dennis Hopper, working with Roy Scheider, sitting at a monitor and seeing Roy Scheider's face on the monitor is a big thrill. These guys are no longer with us, but they're all wonderful, wonderful actors, heroes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So, what is your proudest accomplishment when it comes to the movies part? What was your most favorite movie to do?
Well, who's your favorite child?
I'll have kids. I'll have no kids. I have no kids.
Asking you to choose between David and Christina. Who's your favorite? I can't choose that. What the heck?
Okay, okay,
Every
okay.
film doing when I was doing it was my favorite.
So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So okay, out of all your movies, what are your top five movies?
As my own movies or other movies that I like.
All yeah, like your own movies that you like, that own movies that you've done, and then we're gonna go to the movies that you didn't do that other directors and other people has done that you've watched.
Well, as a cinematographer, I can't beat the work on Bronco Billy. Absolutely stunning work on Bronco Billy. I was able to because again, I've got to digress. When I was doing Death Game. After about 6 weeks of post production, the director called Sandra and I to go to a screening of it. It was awful. It was awful. Sandra is just like this. She didn't even want to look at it. It was so bad. I was going, where's this shot? Where's that shot? Where's this shot? I didn't know what the fuck he was doing. It was awful. So I had the director take me and Sandra to the editing room, and I found shots and I fixed scenes right there. I just fixed it. I said, there, that's better, isn't it? We fired the editor. I was now the cinematographer and the editor on Death Game.
Wow,
Now
that's
then, yeah, that is a big step for me. That was a big learning experience. And on Death Game, in post production, when we're starting to do the sound mix, you have to put each actor's dialogue on a separate reel so the sound mixer can control it. I was doing that. I was running low on fill leader. I call MGM Lab. I say, send me another box of fill leader. Fill leader is old films that you use on the soundtrack to cut in between the actors' dialogue so that they stay in sync. So
wow.
I go into the editing room the next Saturday, and there's a box waiting for me. I open up the box, and what is in the box? What film did they send me as fill leader? Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. I love
Yeah.
this. I have ticket number 001. I was first in line to see that movie when it played in Hollywood. 001. I loved it, but I couldn't get the projector to ever play it for me. He wouldn't go back and let me study it. Now I had it in my hands. I studied it, took all my work off the movie yellow, put Mr. Kubrick's work on. I'm running it forward and back, forward and back. I come to the scene where the little Alex kills the cat lady with the sculpture of a giant phallus. I suddenly hit the brick on the movie and I go, what the fuck is that?
Oh wow.
Stanley Kubrick, at the end of that scene, is using a handheld 35 millimeter Aeroflex camera with a very wide angle lens on it. He's shooting 360 degrees in that big room. And I could see that there were no movie lights. There were no
Wow.
movie lights. This isn't a Roger Corman movie. This is a big Stanley Kubrick production that was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. There were no
Wow.
movie lights.
Four
Everything,
Academy Awards?
yes, he had brought in light sculptures. One was in a spiral, one was like a Christmas tree. And in them, he'd screwed in 100-watt bulbs and put them around the room, plugged them into the wall sockets, and said, I'm lit. Let's shoot. This is Stanley Kubrick. Now, this was one of the biggest things I ever learned in filmmaking, one of the biggest lessons I ever learned in filmmaking. was studying Stanley Kubrick's film, A Clockwork Orange, and discovering that in the shot. That is exactly how I lit Bronco Billy. I took that knowledge to Clint Eastwood and used only practical bulbs everywhere in all the scenes. And that's how Bronco Billy came in 2.5 weeks under schedule on my
Wow,
first film.
man. See, that's. I bet it was a challenging time trying to get that movie to go, man, without those lights.
So it's been a long and winding road, but the thing that I did, I kept my eyes and ears open, and I learned and I studied. And when I found something that worked, I continued to make it work for me. Every,
Hell yeah.
every film I've ever done has gone back to Stanley Kubrick and learning that lesson of using practical lights in the scene. Fantastic lesson.
Wow. So what are the okay, for the movies that has been done by other directors and actors,
You gotta close my door because the dog is barking.
no problem.
Okay, that should keep the dog more a little quieter. Sorry for the.
Not a problem, not a problem.
You can cut this out.
Look, now, matter of fact, before we get to that question, we have a couple comments in a box. So I would like to get to them before we answer that question. Uh, the Service USA LLC's Fire and American flag. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Catherine B. Hello there. Greetings from Germany. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Catherine. Hope you're doing fine. I'm doing awesome. We're doing awesome. We're having fun, kicking back. Listen to Mr.
Kick,
Worst Stories.
he's kicking it back with the old fucker.
With the old fuckers. Right? That's what he said, Paul Mr. Palmer Mano said, looking good, guys. Hey, Mr. Palmer Mano, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And also, Mr. Palmer Mano is a big fan of your work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. And Mr. Ray Santiago, thank you, bro. Greetings from Camden. Great job, bro. Thank you, thank you. You know what I mean? Gotta do what I gotta do for the fans, baby. Thank you, big bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. Shout out to Ray, my boy, my homie. Also, back to the questions. Hey, Mr. Worth. So what are your top 5 movies of all time?
Intolerance by D.W. Griffith. Grapes of Wrath by John Ford. Citizen Kane by Orson Welles. 2001 by Stanley Kubrick and A Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick. That's 5. I could name
Yeah,
50, but that's 5.
man. Oh,
I wrote a book years ago called Milestones in Cinema, 50 plus films of filmmakers. And anyone who's interested is welcome to go to Amazon.com and order it. Order the latest version, updated with photographs. It is a cool book. It's got the top 50 movies, my top 50 that influenced me. And they might not be your top 50, but that was mine.
awesome, awesome. Y'all should go get that movie. Also, guys, all that is watching, all you guys is watching, please do me a favor. Please like and subscribe to the channel to get all that is the In Your Face show. I'm gonna post it in the comment box. so that y'all may see.
Well, this is live. This is, I see.
Yes,
Edit. You can't edit.
sir. Yes, it is. It's live, very much live. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Mm, okay.
Yes, it is. Very much live. Yes, it is. But yeah,
Your face. It's in your face, man. I love it.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is, hey, you know. So, Mr. Worth, um, what is the most what is the most significant? Okay, okay. Sorry about that.
It's
I'm not gonna answer that one. Ask that one. How do you stay focused and motivated being in, being the being at being the legend that you are with all that's going on? How do you stay focused and motivated?
uh, that's it. How do I stay focused? I've always been motivated to make movies since I was 16 years old. Saw Citizen Kane. That's been my focus. Making movies has been my focus my whole life. And I, I did two films, one for Venice, and later this year, one for Bangkok for next year. And I spend all my time during the day focusing on those productions. And I'm very tenacious. I'm like a dog with a bone. Once I get my teeth on it, I don't want to let it go.
That's
My,
right. That's right.
the ideal way for me to die would be on the set to cut, print, wrap.
Oh man.
That would be. You know who's going to do it? You know who's going to do it? Who's going to beat me to do it? Clint Eastwood. That man is 93. He's 10 years older than I am. Exactly. 93. He's still directing. And he's looking a little long in the tooth, but he's still there. He's got all his memory and all his masterful concepts, and he's there doing it. He's going to beat me to that one. I think he's going to go out on the set. That
Wow.
was my whole life was to go out on the set. I think Clint's going to beat me to it. He deserves it. That's fine. He's the best. He is the very best. The man, the myth, and the legend. Mysteries.
Wow. Clint Eastwood. Man, I didn't know he's older than you, man. Wow, he's old. You
He's an old dude. Yes, 93, still directing. Still out there every day doing his thing. So I want to go out exactly that way.
wow. Oh man. So y'all just out there getting it. Man. Woo. Oh man. Make me want to go out there, make me motivated. Oh man. So I have a question in the comment box. Somebody have the USA the Service USA LLC question: as a starting filmmaker, what advice would you have for those of us who use our own funds to budget our own projects?
I got lots of advice for you dudes. You guys are so fucking lucky to be born now because you can do a film on this. You can do a movie on this. Your iPhone. I had to rent trucks and lights and 35 millimeter cameras and film and processing. You know, they did a whole movie. There's a Steven Soderbergh shoots all his films on an iPhone now. Did you see
Wow.
the see the film? See if I can remember the name. Tangerine. Tangerine was done in 2015. Big, wonderful, small movie that had a big impact. All done on iPhone 5s. Two iPhone 5s. Did a whole movie on them. And a wonderful movie about the transgender community. It was just a thrilling film. I love it. And that taught me a lot. That showed me how simple it is nowadays to do a movie. Get your friends together, get a good story together, and do it. Practice on the weekends. You don't even have to quit your job. You can do it on the weekends. That's how Spike Lee shot She's Gotta Have It way back in the 1980s. Shot it over 7 weekends. So everything is possible. Just do it. Pick up the iPhone, get your friends, and do it. That's it.
Right.
Think it. Just do it. Just do it. Just get out there and fucking do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
He's
You can
he's
get out.
raw. He's raw, man. You're very raw, Mr. Word. Very, very raw. Raw. He's raw, guys. He's raw. Hey, I mean, you'll get it from me, but I don't even have to say nothing. Mr. Murph is giving you the raw business. He's giving you the gems and everything. So I mean, take it while you can. Take it while y'all can. Or and when the live is over, you can
Get
go
your
right back to it.
everyone just get together. Get your friends together. Get your iPhones and go make a movie. It's easily done. Nowadays, it's easily done. It took me months and weeks of prep and all kinds of equipment and trucks and things to do it back in the 60s and 70s. Now it's very easy. It's very easy to do an indie film. You just have to have the will. You have to have the focus, put everything else aside, and concentrate and do it. Even if you're just doing it for 2 days a week or something like that, that's fine. 2 days a week in 10 weeks, what have you got? 20 days of shooting. You've got a big film there, boy. Do it. Do it. And then call me, David Worth, at davidworthfilm@gmail.com. Email me. I'll be happy to look at your work and talk to you about it. No problem.
Awesome. So, Mr. Worth, we got another question in the comment box. Mr. Worth, did you also have to go through all kinds of stages as give me a sandwich, call the gardener, so forth, before you could do something more important for the story or movie?
Oh, yes, I spent 10 years doing shit. 10 years doing shit. That's my life. Nothing but shit, shit, shit. Had to do it. Had to get the experience. Got the experience and then did bigger things. But it took me 10 years of working out of the back of an Econoline van in the back streets of Hollywood doing crap. But that's okay. Do crap if you have to. But don't stay there.
Yeah, yeah. So, Jason Cordon Cardona is I'm watching now. All right, man. All right, y'all got me going crazy. All right. Catherine said I should say that as well. Good craftsman and dedication doesn't only mean you get there by pressing a button. Oh man.
I have to fix my pillow in my chair, so I need to fix that. Okay. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, she said I should say that as well. Good craftsman. Dedication doesn't only mean you get there by pressing a button.
But you don't get anywhere by pressing a button. Maybe you get to the second floor or the fifth floor by pressing a button. You don't get anywhere in Hollywood by pressing a button or in filmmaking because
She
you've
said
got,
you're kind of funny, but I believe you.
pardon?
She said you're kind of funny, but I believe you.
Okay. It's true. True. From my experience, it's true anyway. Uh, it took a long time. Took me a long time.
Oh wow. So, question, Mr. Worth. What was your first camera that you've gotten to do your movie?
Oh boy, what was my first camera? My first camera was actually a still camera. I remember living in Chicago. I took a picture at the beach, and when I came back from the processing and printing, it was perfect. Everything was exactly in the frame how I wanted it. I thought, well, that's good. That's how it works. Then I got a 16 millimeter Beaulieu, a French camera. It took 100-foot loads. I was shooting on that for a while. Again, just learning. I actually taught myself the most about filmmaking by getting an 8 millimeter camera, a little hand wound editor. There's a little picture in the middle and a little hand. You wind it through to do the editing. I put hours and hours and hours of film through that camera, black and white and color. Taught myself the difference between black and white and color, between natural light and available light and practical light and studio light. Taught myself editing, 6 and 12 and 2 and 3 and 4 frame cuts, all because I bought a little 8 millimeter camera, a little 8 millimeter editor, and I would go shoot, and I would go and sit in my room and analyze and take it apart and put it back together for weeks and months. And that was very invaluable experience for me.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh man. Oh, brother. So, the service
Now,
USA LLC.
filmmakers today, you can do all that right here. Take the iPhone, shoot whatever you want on the iPhone. Then get iMovie or any simple editing thing and put it into the editing thing and put it together. Add music, add sound effects, whatever you want to do. It's all done right here on the iPhone. No problem. Very easy today to be a filmmaker. You just have to have the dedication, put everything else away, go to bed early, get up early, and get your iPhone and go make a movie, man. That's what I tell you. That's my advice. Get out there and do it. Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Let's do it. I have another question from Service USA. Mr. Worth, I have to reshoot some footage in Hong Kong and in the USA. I'll definitely send a link for preview after post.
I didn't understand the question, please.
He said he has to shoot footage in Hong Kong and in the USA. He said he'll definitely send a link once he finished after he posted it. He'll send a link for a preview after he posted it. After I post. To you.
You can send me whatever you like. Because I'm on Facebook. I'm on email. And my email is davidworthfilm@gmail.com. Send me anything you like. Anyway, I'm easy to reach.
Awesome. So, like, do you feel that, what is the one thing that a young director have to know before directing his first movie?
That's a good question. What is the most important thing? Casting, I think. There's so many things you need to know. You need to know cinematography and editing and casting and writing, those things. Writing comes first. You need a concept. You need to sit down and be able to write 3 action, 4 action, 5 action concepts. Then you need to find the people who can do those concepts. You need the cast to bring out those concepts, to say what you want them to say. Then you need to know cinematography and editing And the directing that's directing, is getting all that together and doing it. That
Oh
was
my.
that was my method.
True. Very true. Very true. Very true. Man. So, what is a day in the life of? What was it like hanging out with Mr. Clint Eastwood?
Heaven on earth.
Heaven on earth.
Yeah, heaven on earth. That was wonderful. I was, let me see, Bronco billing. Uh, let's take a day in the circus tent, inside the circus tent. We had a lot of work in that circus tent. Week or 2 weeks of work in it. Everything was about Bronco's Billy's Wild West show. So we had the Wild West show going. I built all the lights into that set. There was the tent had two big poles here, and then we had a pole across here, another pole there. I put lights on that pole and those poles, and I pre-lit that entire set. Behind the crowd, then I had two follow spots. I followed all the action. I was ready. I could take. I went in at 7:30 every morning, hit the switch, said 2-8, three cameras here, there, and shot and shot and shot. Never did change a light. That was the secret to that very happy set. And Mr. Eastwood was thrilled because he could walk on the set any time and know that it was ready. He could shoot in any direction, and I would never say, "Okay, give me 2 hours to change the lights." BS. Any cinematographer who says that is full of it.
Wow. So like, what was? So what do you think was best, Bronco Bully or John Wayne?
Pardon?
What do you think was between Bronco Bully and John Wayne? Which two are the best? Which one was the best?
Bronco Billy in what film?
John Wayne.
Oh, John Wayne. Well, that's John Ford. Those are old-fashioned films. Those were made with very slow film. They were made. John Ford was very quick, though. That was the thing about John Ford. That's why Clint and I both loved John Ford. I had discovered as a thing about John Ford that I knew Clint liked him. And when I met Clint, I said, "Did you know how much footage John Ford shot on The Grapes of Wrath?" He said, "No." He said, "On when Don Siegel and I did in San Francisco, we shot about 75,000 feet. That was great. We thought that was very lean." I said it was very lean. For John Ford, back in the old days, in 1939, on Grapes of Wrath, shot 39,000 feet of film.
Wow.
Now you think of that and put that up against a lot of directors that shoot 1,000,000 feet of film for a 2-hour movie. John Ford shot 39,000 feet of film. Maybe it was even 37,000.
So it was harder to do a film back then than it is now.
That was real genius. That was real simple genius. I love,
Wow.
I love that film. Grapes of Wrath, starring Henry Fonda. Lit by Greg Toland, who went on the next year to walk into the commissary, put his set of his Academy Award down for Orson Welles, say, "I want to shoot your movie." And that's how he got the DP Citizen Kane.
Wow. That was. Oh man. You know, a lot of film to do.
Yeah,
Oh man. So what is the longest you've worked on a film?
it might have been Any Which Way You Can. I think we had a 10-week shooting schedule on that. That was a launch.
Man.
Most of my films I can do in 4 or 5 weeks. Is normal for me. But Any Which Way You Can was a big movie. a big, big blockbuster movie with lots of country western stars and singers in it, with lots of locations. We're on location in Boise, Idaho, and not in Boise, in
Have you
excuse
have you
me,
won any awards for your movies?
pardon?
Have you won any awards for your movies?
No, I am. I'm not an award-winning guy. I'm just a hard-working stiff who
Hey,
loves films.
I mean, your movie is still great to me. I mean, they're being watched all around the world. People love, you know, Lady Dragon and
So,
Kickboxer.
yeah, those are still playing. Those are still going. I'm
Yeah.
thrilled that those are still on. In fact, I just watched Kickboxer last night. It was on AMC. I was up to 1:30 watching it, but it was because they had commercials. But it was very good. Jim
So
really did a great job. All the actors did a great job in that film.
I have a question. So when you look back at all your work that you've done with all your movies, when you sit back and watch some of your movies, do you be like, I could have done that, could have done that this better, I could have done that better. Do you critique your movies,
Do I critique my own work?
your own movies? Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't look back. I only look forward. I don't want to look back. What I've done, I've done. I had plenty of time to fix it in post production. It got fixed or it didn't. I only have a couple of movies that I'm ashamed of. One of them is Shark Attack 3. Shark Attack 3 was a great film that got really messed up in post production because I wasn't there. That's life in the fast lane. Nothing you can do about it. Awful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, oh man, do you, do you feel like do you feel like do you feel like you can direct your whole entire life, or do you feel like retirement is in the near future?
I'm sorry. Say the question again. I did wasn't.
I said, like, do you do you feel that that you can still keep going as a director, or do you feel like retirement is in the near future?
Well, I am retired, but I'm not retired. Filmmakers never retired. It just
Oh, okay, okay.
was a concept. That's why I'm preparing a film for Venice and one for Bangkok in my 84th and 85th year on the planet because I don't want to fucking stop. I just want to keep making movies. Uh,
Right.
and I don't like retirement. I've been forced to retire, but I always find a way to come out of retirement and find a way back.
You
I just
know,
remember how I want to die. Cutthroat rap.
hey man, I would love to be in one of your movies, man, and
No problem.
yeah, huh?
I said, no problem.
I mean, I can act a little bit. Yeah, too much. I'm not bragging about it. I can act a little bit. You know, I don't worry about that. Well, but man, like with all the new movies out today, do you think the filmmaking industry evolved, or it just do you think it's gotten better, or do you think it's gotten worse?
Well, it's done both. It's gotten better as far as the technology. As I said, you can catch your films on your iPhone now. It's gotten worse as far as the content. I hate all these big comic book sci-fi movies. I just think they're bullshit. I try not to, a lot of people love them. That's just not my cup of tea. I was raised on the Italian neorealist, the French New Wave, the American Independence, John Cassavetes, John Le Carre, All those guys. That's the kind of movies I like. The simple stories that are on natural locations with available light and sometimes non-actors even. That's what I gravitate towards. I don't like big comic books. It's easy to make a big comic book movie. It's hard to get out there and make a movie with just your will.
Yeah, I understand. I truly understand. Because we all have our different tastes. We all have our different tastes. And that's true. I mean, what can you say? We all have our opinions on what we do. And
Everything I'm talking about, it's just my opinion. People can say, "Fuck you, Dave." I have it. I want to go make a big, comic book movie. Fine, do it. Do whatever you like. This is just my life and my opinion. You go out and make your life and your opinion. No problem. I don't have a problem with that. I might not agree with it, but that's fine.
yeah, it's the worst. You're a sight to see, man. You're a sight to see. You're so awesome, man. Um, you know, so with your movie, with the movies that's coming out in Bangkok and all those movies, what is there to come?
Pardon?
I said, what is there like, what is there to come out with your movies, the movies that you're doing now, that's coming out soon, basically.
I'm planning for Venice and for Bangkok.
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
It won't be out until maybe a year after that. So maybe
Well,
the one for Venice should be out. We're planning to go to the Venice Film Festival in 2025. The one for Bangkok should be out the next year in 2026. Uh,
well, I have an idea. Whenever you want to promote those movies, we can bring you back on and promote them for you.
I think that's a wonderful idea. Thank you, young man.
You're always welcome, sir. You're always welcome in my book. You're the,
Hey,
you're great, sir. You're a great man, and I thank you for coming on today. And
my pleasure, believe me. My pleasure.
hopefully you tell everybody that you know that you got interviewed by the king, by the in
Yes,
your face great.
got King Chef. Everybody see me on In Your Face. I love the title. I love being on In Your Face. When I first saw it, I said, I want to do that. I love In Your Face. I think it's exactly what it should be. The In
Yes,
Your Face.
sir. Yes, sir. I
Well,
got it.
King. Thank you, King. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. So I would like to take us out. Take us out. I like to take us out. For the end of the show. Let me talk to the people before I do. A million meters. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. You know, it's been well. Hey, if you need more gyms, feel free to contact Mr. Worth at David Worth
Film
on
at
Facebook.
com.
There you go.
Send me your work. I'm happy to critique it for you.
There you go. And like I said, man, Mr. Worth, you're an awesome guy, awesome cat, and thank y'all guys for watching. Y'all make this show for what it is, and I thank you guys for you being who you are. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Thank you, Mr. Worth. I love you too, man. Love you guys. Love you, Mr. Worth. And we out of here. So I'm about to take us out of here. And it's been the In Your Face show. We out. Peace.